for some reason it's not coming up. So no one's on yet. You're going to be late coming on. It's very strange. Yeah. It seems to be on everywhere but on our webpage. I don't see anything yet. Yeah, Michelle. Oh. Here we go. Just came on. That was so strange. Well, I know Michelle is on because she told me that it was up. Hello, Irene. That should be two people. That's weird. But anyway, welcome. Welcome to our Thursday meditation. Last day of the Torah portion. Noach. You didn't see. I was showing everybody. This is we're doing Animal Shabbat. So we have these pictures of cute dogs and stuff. Cats are welcome, and iguanas and all of that as well. But there's Lisa and Chuck. Happy birthday, Chuck. It's a big one. 3/4 of a century for you. I hope that you have an amazing year, and congratulations that you've made it. 75 is a real milestone, and I hope that you're celebrating and take good care of him, Lisa. You know, maybe you guys can go to dinner or something like that, or have dinner come in to you since we're still in a pandemic. Okay, so happy birthday and welcome. And we're in our final day of our teachings and meditations on Noah. And I was thinking about towards the end of the flood. And what does Noah do? But he sends the raven out to check and see if there's land. And the raven goes out, flies around a little bit, and then comes back. And he keeps sending the raven out, and then finally he sends the dove out, and we all know the dove comes back with an olive branch in its mouth and knows that there's land, and then ends up going into Mount Ararat. You've got a good dinner ready for him. I'm so glad. And then, you know, humanity begins again. But what I found kind of interesting as I was thinking about it today is Noah has some failure. Right? I mean, we all say that he sends out the raven and he's looking for land, and yeah, but like the first time it doesn't work out. The second time it doesn't work out. Yet he keeps on sending the birds out. And, you know, for various reasons, it just had my mind thinking about, you know, there's times where we try things and they don't work. You know, there's times where we have an idea and we put that idea into motion and it doesn't seem like the idea is really going to happen. It reminds me of, you know, movies that are made, and when you hear the person interviewed, they say, yeah, I've been working on this movie for 10 years, 15 years. I first found this story, you know, 20 years ago, and finally it's being made. And I think, you know, part of this Noah story is not just that humanity was horrible and had to be destroyed, but that there was patience on the part of those people that were kept alive, and not just patience, but you know, the ability to continue, even if you'd failed. Right? It's like Noah could have given up the first time he sent that bird out and said, you know, I'll wait a long time and maybe the land will come up and I don't really need to know about it. But instead he said, no, this is the right way to do it. So he sends out the bird again, and even though it didn't work that second time, he sends out the dove, and he's going to keep trying it. And that's resiliency, and that's patience, and that's stick-to-itiveness. And you know, if he had sent the bird out and then been like, oh, it didn't work, and just gave up, well, you know, who knows what would have happened after that. Well, that isn't what happens in the story, so I don't want to even guess. But I really do love the idea that human beings are going to fail. We're going to attempt things, and it's not going to work out for us. But there's always that next opportunity to try again. And it may be that we fail a million times. I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a famous, well, I saw a sheet that had Abraham Lincoln's failures. And it literally had a list. You know, lost the Senate race, lost the representative race, lost this, lost that, lost the nomination for president, And then, of course, he becomes one of our greatest presidents that we've ever had, after failure, after failure, after failure. And, there are many examples of it found in literature all over the place, but the Bible really does have a lot, right? Every one of these characters, we can talk about their flaws, and when something has gone wrong, or when their life didn't turn out the way they thought it would be at that moment. And what ends up happening is that they move on to whatever is next. And I think this really ties into our mindfulness, because if something happens, then we're trained in this way to notice it, not just to notice what happened, but to notice how I feel or how you feel about what happened. So if there is failure, if we haven't lived up to something that we wanted to, then the question is, okay, well, how do I feel about that? And then notice how it does make you feel, and notice the thing that it is, and see whether your feelings and what it is actually line up in a place that allows you to be moving forward. Or what can happen, and does happen many times. Hello, sis. Hello, Jerry. What happens many times is the failure becomes the thing that's thought about, instead of reflecting on how that made you feel, where it put you. Did it make you defensive? Did it make you angry? Did it make you sad? Did it make you happy? What was the emotion that came with what happened? And then to ask the question, how do I move forward from here? How do I learn from this? Do I want to make changes based upon it? Is this a feeling that I brought on my own, or was this brought from the outside? Excuse me. There's lots of questions that we can ask about how we're feeling about the things that happen to us, so that we get a better understanding of who we are as people. And this idea of being resilient and being patient really is the idea of every moment that happens to us exists for this moment. Sometimes there are repercussions that last in waves, like when you throw a pebble into water and there's waves that go out. But most of the time, the things that happen to us in a day, it may not be that we forgot about them, but they're not important to our moving forward. Things happen. Things happen that are positive. Things happen that are negative. How do we live through them and live our lives in the present? Because if I'm still thinking about something that happened yesterday that I did, how can I exist today in this moment if I'm still living in that moment? The famous story, I know I've told this before because we've had a lot of these meditations over, hundreds. And it's the two monks walking along. They've taken vows of silence and vows of chastity, and they come across this beautiful woman who's on one side of a river, and she's like, would you please carry me? Help me over to the other side of the river. One monk picks her up, puts her over the shoulder, goes onto the other side of the river, puts her down, continues walking. Like 3 hours later, the other monk is like, I can't believe that you did what you did. We took a vow of chastity, and I can't believe that you actually touched a woman. And he turns to the monk and he says, I put her down 3 hours ago. You're still carrying her. That's what happens when we take something that had happened that made us feel a certain way, and we allow that feeling to stay with us over time, instead of either slowly letting it go, quickly letting it go, or letting it blend into our humanscape of who we are, and accepting that this is part of my story now. This has happened, and I have to, look at this as a real moment. That's a lot to think about, and now let's not think. Let's take our moments to be. We can continue thinking about these ideas afterward, but let's take a moment to get out of everything that happened to us, or to at least corral our thoughts and our feelings, and try to just be, for just a couple moments at least. We know our thoughts will take us away. We know we may have feelings. We know that our mind is very active. So let's see if we can find some moments in these 20 minutes for quiet and for stillness. Remember, just kind of breathe normally and feel your breath go into your body, leave your body. We're not trying to fix anything. We're just trying to allow things to be as they are for this very moment. We can always change things when we're done, but for this moment, we're just allowing. If you have a sensation in your body, feel it, notice it. If you have a thought that's recurring, notice the thought. Put it aside and come back to it. And be gentle with yourself. Love yourself. Without judgment, just take yourself back to your breath. Sometimes I do both my breath and at the end of it feel my heartbeat. And I kind of do this revolution between my breath and my heartbeat. It allows me to really stay inside this area of my body. And to concentrate on those two things that happen, whether I do concentrate on them or not. So I'll go quiet now. And let's take this time to notice our breath. just a little bit of a reminder and an invitation that when you notice that you've been thinking, your mind is wandering, just bring yourself back without judgment to your breath. Feel your stomach fill or your chest fill, and feel it can expand and contract. Feel how each breath is refreshed. we move into our last several minutes together, let's ask for certain feelings as we head towards Shabbat in the weekend. The third of our priestly benedictions is, may I feel joy, may I feel whole, may I feel joy, may I feel whole. And with each breath, offer yourself out loud, whispered, just mouthed, may I feel joy. Joy is not happiness. Joy is when you feel from the inside a feeling of, sometimes it could be accomplishment. It could be just a feeling in your heart that makes it feel lifted up. It could lead to a sense of wholeness. May I feel whole. May I feel like I am myself and a whole being. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. If you'd like to, offer it to someone else. You can have someone in your mind's eye standing or sitting in front of you. And you can offer to them, may you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel whole. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel joy. And then let's just bring it back to ourselves. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. Just asking this out into the air. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. With those two feelings inside of us, we just go to our breath one last moment. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you were able to find some peace and stillness. May you feel joy and may you feel whole. Happy birthday, Chuck. Have a great night